Welcome, trepidatious traveller. 'Tis the season for spooks and you've mustered up the courage to try your first horror game, and you've been hearing good things about this newfangled Silent Hill 2 remake, but let's not be hasty, those are hard-earned dollars you've got there, and you're not about to spend them on a game that's going to overwhelm you in 5 minutes. So you put into your search bar, is Silent Hill 2 scary? And I'm here to tell you whether Silent Hill 2 is a good place to ease into horror games and ignite a passion you never knew you had. So let's answer the $70 question. Is Silent Hill 2 a good jumping on point for potential horror fans? No. If my quick affirmation of your underlying belief has already satiated you, then I'll tell you to start off with something less intense like Alan Wake or Resident Evil 4, but if you want a more in-depth breakdown of the horror, then the rest of the video awaits. Silent Hill 2 was a horror game about suggestion, subtlety, and quiet reflective moments, contrasted by an overpowering atmosphere. It was psychologically disturbing, and it was the rare kind of horror that left you constantly thinking about how messed up it all was. Kind of like your thought processes after watching The Matrix for the first time. The remake, while still dripping with that overpowering atmosphere, is about as subtle as a metal pipe to the window. There are a lot of enemies. This is because of most of the differences between the two versions. The remake keeps you on edge. Now, if you've never played a horror game, then you might be thinking, oh god, it's constantly going to be jump scaring me. But worry not, Silent Hill 2 has something far worse, a radio. See, you have a radio that will emit static from your controller whenever an enemy is nearby, so instead of a sudden jump, it's a feeling of dread as you scan the darkened room for the contorted creature, hoping that you find it before it finds you. You can think of it like a warning that combat is about to start, but if you're watching a video like this, it means that dread is a powerful force in your mind, like having a fear of needles. It's the anticipation, not the act, that scares you. But if that's not how you feel, then worry not, because there's this special type of enemy that loves to hide and then jump on you before you can see it, and the radio doesn't work on it for some reason, but only when it's hiding. This is a horror technique known as a dick move. It purposefully breaks the rules of the game in order to elicit a scare from you. It's possible I'm forgetting about the same system in the original, but the remake has about 5 times the enemies, so it matters much more here. But maybe you're a horror movie fanatic, but it's horror games you can't handle because of the interactivity, and you fear running out of bullets and soft-locking yourself. In that case, Silent Hill 2 might be slightly more your speed. I played on easy for the purpose of this video, and I never felt satisfied with my ammo count. Even when I'd built up a stockpile of 50 bullets, I'd run into a boss that made me empty my armory into it, and I searched areas rigorously for pickups. Thankfully, I never once felt in danger of losing my healing supply, and I finished the game without dying. I also never felt in danger of soft-locking myself, but if you're newer to shooters, then your experience may vary. Silent Hill 2 is also quite punishing to players who let their mind race, as it requires you to engage your brain in demanding puzzles and memorization of items and locations. This is the biggest improvement of the remake by far, as the puzzles can actually be solved by a sane man now. In the original, you had to open a box with 4 locks, each with their own separate puzzle to get a piece of hair that you combined with a bent needle to make a fishing line that you put down a drain. Yes, you were expected to figure all that out on your own in 2001. The remake is far less demanding with the amount of mental pressure required of you to complete tasks, and in the year of our Lord 2024, you have guides galore, and what you look up on the internet stays between you and your FBI agent. Ultimately, if you're just getting into horror, then Silent Hill 2 is a very deep end to jump in, and that's why you should do it. I used to be scared of horror games too. Then I played my first one, Resident Evil 7, and I realized that I was scared of the thought of playing horror games, not the games themselves. Sure, you can try ripping the band-aid off with something else, but if you rip your arm off instead, then there's nothing worse you can try, and then you can play the rest of gaming's horror masterpieces without the same dread. Plus, Silent Hill 2 is a game you really want to avoid spoilers for. But if you're still too nervous to try, then like I said at the top, see if Alan Wake and Resident Evil 4 are more your speed. But the only way to conquer fear is to run straight towards it. I'll be back in 2 days. In the meantime, here's a video about how unexpectedly great the combat of the remake is.